And progress towards clean energy is far too slow and governments must triple spending. That's the call from the International Energy Agency. It says the world is set to miss its net zero target by 2050 by 60%. Well, let's talk about this with Cornelia Meyer, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Meyer Resources, an oil and gas specialist. Thank you very much, Cornelia, for being with us. You're joining us from Switzerland. So the IEA says $4 trillion of investment in clean energy is needed in the next decade. First of all, what do you make of this report and how realistic and achievable is this?
Well, I think, that the IEA has done the numbers on if we want to get to net zero by 2050, what it will take. And they have come to the conclusion that it's that only about a third of what is needed to be invested in renewable energy has been invested. So it needs to be upped by 2/3 to get there. Where I look at it, it may be realistic in terms of Europe, where, with the Green Deal, it's very focused of being the first climate and net zero continent. It is much less realistic for the developing world, where the money is just not there for these sort of investments. And it underestimates the importance of, fuels like gas as transition fuels to get us over the hump until we have enough renewable energy.
Now, let's talk about the high energy prices that Europe is experiencing right now. Last year, at the height of the coronavirus pandemic, there was a surplus in oil where countries couldn't even find storage space. And today you have this crisis. What is it down to? Is it just a supply and demand issue, or are there other factors at play here, like the push for green energy, for example?
Well, I think it's many factors. And with oil, yes, we have very high oil prices, but we still have sort of enough oil to go around. Mm-hmm. With gas, we clearly do not have enough gas to go around in Europe and in China and in Asia currently. And part of that really is that we are not, that with all of these ESG, environment, social and governance principles, there's not enough money flowing into gas and so on. We also had a very cold winter last year, so storage was depleted. The economy is turned around and is going gangbusters again, so the demand is there. So we really are in a scenario of a perfect storm.
So for the time being, only Europe is affected, but do you see it having a ripple effect where other countries, other regions could also be impacted? Should we be bracing for wider economic damage beyond the energy sector and beyond Europe?
Well, it's not just Europe, it's also China. And with China, it's a problem of coal. It's a problem of coal and gas. And part of the problem for Europe is that for the liquefied natural gas, the LNG, China has become a major competitor. So far, it was Korea and Japan who were the importers. But this year, China will overtake Japan as the largest importer of LNG. So the competition is there. So we see it in China. Factories, they're rolling blackouts, rolling brownouts. Factories have to be closed down. So we see it across the board. And we just need to make sure as we go through this very important energy transition, and everybody wants to get to net zero and save the planet. But as we're getting there, we need to make sure we have the transition fuels ready, and we think very carefully on how we make that transition.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Cornelia, about this. Cornelia Meyer joining us there from Switzerland. Thank you for your insight.
Thank you very much.